I thought we'd have to wait years to be able to say this, but this is a very special
You
episode.
took my breath away with this one. You took my breath away.
So I will tell you.
You know this is special to me.
If you listen or watch, really, you know Jason and I bicker all the time. That's just our relationship. But I love the man like family. We share everything together. It's been 35, 7 years, whatever it is. And I know almost everything about the man, and he knows almost everything about me because we just unconditionally can talk about stuff and don't punish each other. And Jason, for as long as I've known him, has talked about the O show in Vegas and talked about the fact, he goes out of nowhere, he'll go, God, this guy, if you're watching the O show, you got a hobo that's
And
sitting.
everybody, now, first of all, if you haven't seen the O show, everybody thinks water, because it's basically takes place in and above a giant pool. It's a water show.
But Jason says, so there's
one act.
There's one act, the guy, and he goes, I've never been able to get this on my head. It's a hobo who sits there, and he's reading, and
he's sitting in like
foot catches on fire,
lounge chair. Yeah.
His foot catches on fire, and slowly but surely, he's
The
totally
chair.
engulfed. He is totally engulfed in fire.
He's reading a newspaper,
and
the
he's sitting
newspaper's
there
on fire.
as if he's not on fire. And life has gotten so bad for this guy that even this doesn't elicit much of a reaction.
He realizes he's on fire. It's kind of like oh, shucks.
And slowly walks off stage.
Slowly.
And I understand, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong, that he does it almost, and think about this, if I was silent now for 3 minutes,
Yeah.
that is an eternity. Think about being fully engulfed
In flame.
and I understand that the temperature outside that he's putting out there is about 900 degrees. And he does this several times a night for a lot of years. So I wanted to surprise Jason. So I called producer Lauren and I go, look, we're going to be in Vegas. We got to find this guy. We got to track him down. So doing sleuth work and looking up stuff and knowing somebody who knew, John Weiss, who was on as a human cannonball, was trained. And the Dean of Clowns mentions Ray in the article and mentions that he trained a cannonball. And I went, that's got to be John. God bless John.
Right.
John reaches out on short notice. He finds Ray, and Ray is so sweet. He schlepped in to make Jason's dream. Ray.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce
Wold.
you. Really, no, really, Ray Wold,
Unbelievable.
the man who sets himself aflame.
Several
So
times
good
a
to
night.
see you, Jason.
My
So
God.
the other part of the show, and I was just reminding Ray, is that when I saw O, it was fairly early in its run, and Seinfeld was a thing, and I was invited backstage to meet the company, and I'm looking at all these extraordinary performers, and it's hard to recognize. They're in so much makeup during the show, so you're trying to go, oh, that was that person, and I see Ray, and I go up to him and I go, fire guy, and he goes, yeah, and I go, is that a trick? He goes, no. And I go, oh my God. And you were like so grateful because I immediately was like, I can't believe
Look
that
at him,
was.
even now, Jason. I've never
It was
seen.
I mean, I'm around movie sets. I've seen stunt guys do a burn. 30 seconds is a long burn.
And then
minutes,
people run to you
minutes.
to put you out, and you're walking. So let's get, if we can, Ray. Thank you first of all for making. He's obsessed with this thing, as anybody would be listening
You
to.
bet.
Because again, count to 3 minutes. That's a long time. I think the world record is somebody at 4 something, but he must be. See you later.
For a long time, it was just 3 minutes there.
Right.
But
So if you don't mind, because I read the story could you tell the story of how you got started? Because people listening, I'm sure can't imagine how a guy would go, I think I'd
got
like
an
to be
idea.
on fire. I got an idea. And follow through on it and do what you did.
What was so wrong with your life that you went, I got an act?
well, that's exactly it. And I thank you for recognizing it as real fire. So many people are just thinking it's fake
Really?
fire or not real
Absolutely.
fire. You wouldn't believe how many people think that it's not real.
Sure.
But it is absolutely real. And, I started on the streets. I started performing on the streets. And,
What were you before you started performing? Did you have a career? Did you have a vocation?
I was in college, just out of college, kind of wandering around. I wanted to go into forestry. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I ended up meeting some jugglers, and they were juggling, and I thought, well, I could do that, and I learned how to do it and did a show with them, and pretty soon I became a street performer. And performing, and the more people see you, the more money you make, and I started performing. I was a good juggler, got to juggle 5 clubs and everything. But people wouldn't stop until I lit the torch up, and I do a little bit of fire eating. As soon as I brought fire into the act, people would
Okay,
stop.
now let me stop you right there. How hard is it then to go from juggling
I will tell
to
you.
juggling fire?
Look, well, first of all, okay, juggling fire is one thing. I had a friend in college who was a juggler and a fire eater. And I said, "How'd you learn fire eating?" He goes, "You don't learn it. You do it."
do it.
And he tried to get me to do it, and he said, "Remember, the heat will burn up, so keep your mouth wide and close your teeth, but don't." And I'm bringing this thing towards my face, and you feel the heat. The heat goes up. F you, heat goes up. I'm feeling the heat. I could not do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's true, And back in my day, there wasn't books and videos, and there was a few little books that have hints of information, but there wasn't the videos.
Not YouTube, you can't see.
No,
Right,
you can
right,
go
right.
on YouTube,
Yeah,
and
right.
that's how you do it. It wasn't possible. So you kind of learn little tiny information, and then you just lit it up and tried it, and
Just
sometimes
lit
you
it up
paid the
and
price.
tried it. So did you make mistakes? Were you saying?
Oh, you absolutely made a lot of mistakes, and you learn from those mistakes. But the people kept coming; they kept wanting more and more fire, and you had to make a living, had to eat. So
Well, wait, no, wait. When you make a mistake learning to eat fire, what's the cost? I mean,
you burn your lips, you burn them pretty bad. So,
right?
Yeah.
But that's not like a nothing. That takes a while for that to heal, and then you try it again.
Try it again, and you try it again until you get it right. And you're right; you got to keep your head back pretty far, or you're going to burn your nose and your eyes.
All right, so now you're doing that, and you've mastered this. You're doing it pretty well. And then?
Well, and then I got the people. I got the people, and they loved it, and so I decided to do more and more fire. And so I had this idea. If I go to eat fire, because my background is clowning. Grew up with went to Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus Clown College.
That's where things go wrong for people. That's what I've learned doing this.
That's
podcast.
what my dad thought. But I went to the clown college, and so I thought, I want to make a comedy routine out of this. And so I go to eat fire. I'm going to catch a little scarf on my pocket on fire, and act like it's by accident and try to put it out. And then I'll throw it down. I'll bend down to pick it up, and my tie will catch fire. And I'll blow it out and try it. And then it'll swing back and hit my crotch. And I'll try to put that out.
All right, this already sounds like,
Oh my God!
are you out of your mind?
Right? Yeah.
Because, by the way, that's orchestrated, and everything has to go right. You have to control how much whatever inflammable stuff you put in, and the tie has to be right. Everything has to be right material, and the smoke can't be black smoke, or then they can't see you.
No,
right? Wow, there's a lot of stuff.
First time I tried it, I was performing, and first time I tried to perform it, and I burned a big hole in my pants, and I had to go do the show like that. But,
Oh my God!
But yeah, the fuel has to be measured perfect. The timing has to be perfect on it. You have to figure out how to put it out. There's a lot of variables that come in. The wind affects it.
That's all. Yeah, oh, great.
Because you're outdoors performing.
Outdoors
So
performing.
you did that for how long?
I did for about half a year or something like that, and then I got someone saw me on the TV circuit, international world TV circuit, and they asked me to come and do some fire for the show in Italy or something like that, and I went over there and I did it, and they loved it, and they wanted more fire and more fire, and it just kind of snowballed for me.
So, Ray, not to don't divulge any secrets that you don't want to, but do you have special apparatus on under the clown outfit? Does anything sort of protect you a little bit? Here's why I ask. I did a trick when I was a kid. I was an amateur magician. And I did one trick with fire where I would, like a marching band glove. If you soaked it in vodka, you could actually set it on fire. And what's really burning is the fumes. It's not really burning the glove. And I would do a card trick with a burning hand. But it never went wrong. And in fact, the glove never got singed. It was really safe. But I don't think that's what you're doing.
And by the way, before you jump to that, the leap from street performer to I'm now going to set myself entirely on fire. That leap happened when, and when was the first time you set yourself totally? You said, "Here, I'm going
full Monty."
Well, I got this little TV show over in Italy, and I did the TV show, and they, with the body burn and everything, and they loved it. And so they said, we wanted to bring you back, but we need something different. And so I'm a junk collector. I like collecting unusual things. And I went out in my backyard, and I'm looking at all these props or this junk back there. And I found a lawn chair, just an ordinary metal lawn chair. And I said, well, you know what? I learned how to balance a chair when I was in Ringling Brothers Clown College on my chin. I could balance a fire chair up there. And then I said, and then I could sit on it. I could just sit on it. And then I could do a handstand over the fire on the chair. And these were all tricks that I learned while going to the clown college. And so I went over there and I did that there, and I started booking so many TV shows and stuff after that. But that was, and that is actually a trick I use in the Cirque du Soleil show today.
So,
Oh, really?
But Cirque saw you. Somebody from Cirque saw you do that and reached out to you.
Well, not so fast. It took a lot of years of traveling the world and going back and street performing. Because whenever I was out of work, whenever I didn't have a TV show or something to do, I'd be back on that street performing.
And you made a good living doing that.
It was the best training ground for what I do. You can't get a better school than on the street, because if they don't like you, the people are going to walk away, and you're not going to make any money. But if they like you, they're going to stick around, and you get a big crowd.
And I got to ask you, any accidents on the street where you lit somebody on fire? Somebody got too close. Somebody want to shake your hand. A dog runs by, and you go, "I just burnt a poodle."
No, I really didn't have. I got burned myself a few times, and I broke my arm one time. I was on a unicycle, and I
read that. And then you had to juggle with your other hand.
Yeah, well, but I broke my right arm and I had to juggle with my left hand, but I learned how to juggle with my left hand so I could still make a living.
How well can you juggle with your left hand?
Well, I could juggle 3 objects with my left hand.
Just the left hand.
So,
on fire?
Well, I juggled torches and stuff. Yeah, with my
Wow. All right. So I know it took a time, but how did we get then to the Cirque thing, which again is such a mind blower act?
Yeah. Well, I was traveling, doing this act and stuff, and I got invited to go to the Monte Carlo Circus Festival, the biggest circus festival in the world. Right. All the great acts go there and perform, and I went there, and the King of Monaco was right up in the front row, and I came and I ran down. I was going to do the crotch burn, and I came out of the audience with my hat on fire, like a wild man coming down, and I went to eat the fire, and my scarf caught fire, my tie caught fire, my crotch caught fire, and I was going around on the ring curb. I stopped right in the front of the king there, and you could have heard a pin drop. Nobody did anything. They didn't laugh. They didn't do anything.
They were in shock.
Well, they were, but then the king just started laughing, and the whole place just erupted. And after that, I could do no wrong in Monaco, and Cirque du Soleil happened to be there at that time. And then a few days later, I was on the beach over there in Monaco, and it's so lovely there. And we had Elton John was singing live in the sports arena there, and I was on the beach eating wine and cheese and stuff, just listening to Elton John. And I get a call from Cirque du Soleil, and they said, Ray, we want you to come and do the show with us. We're putting together a new show in Vegas here, And I was like, Cirque du Soleil. I think you got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little dirty tramp clown with fire. I'm all sooty, and they're beautiful tights and costumes and stuff. I don't know how I fit in. I said, I think you got the wrong person. They said, no, we didn't get the wrong person. This is not. We know who you are.
Wow.
So I ended up coming to Las Vegas, and I've been here for 24
Did you
years.
help them? So did you help them create your segment in the show?
Well, I'd already created my segment in
Got
the
it.
show.
So they bought the whole act. They bought you and the act
they
as
brought
established.
Me, yeah. Uh-huh.
And so, and this is not to denigrate anybody at Cirque du Soleil, my God, but there are acrobats and performers working for Cirque who I see their skills replicated in various shows. So there's people that hang from the straps. There's people who do the hoops. There's people who do the sear. There's people that can tumble and they do the teeter-totter board. I've never seen anybody else do what you do. Does that give you, I'm hoping the answer to this is a whopping yes, does that give you negotiating power with Cirque du Soleil?
It actually did. It actually, because they're looking for uniqueness. Shows, you got to have variety in the shows today, and I believe that's what has kept me working through the years is the fact that I am unique. I try to be unique.
Oh yeah, you're a bit unique. So how many shows a week are you engulfed in flame?
Well, we do 10 shows a week, and I burn twice in each show. So far
20 burns a week.
20 burns a week. But I've been there for 24 years or something like that. So that's about 40,000 burns or something. I don't know.
And what I read was, if I'm correct, you've never injured yourself on doing a Cirque show, but you did injure yourself doing a private show.
Yeah, I have had some burns. I've never really been seriously burned though, where I haven't. Made it to
Dude,
a
the
farm.
leg burn that I saw, I would consider a serious, but you don't.
Well.
But oh my God, you met your wife. She'd already seen you on fire, so this was not something new. Where she, I'm dating this guy who's a juggler, and then all of a sudden it's
No, she went, this guy's hot. See what I did?
bingo. So I'm curious.
Yeah, where and how do you meet your wife? Was it through performing at all?
Yeah, I met my first wife I met on the cruise ship. Okay.
Oh, all right, sure.
But since then
We won't ask any questions.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, she was a performer, and then later I met my other wife now that I have
Got it,
now. So
And now, is that your current wife? Because Peter told me about this. Is she part of the team?
It puts
you out.
right?
no, she actually owns her own school.
Oh.
She has like a daycare school that she
okay.
owns and manages and does, and it's an excellent school.
I thought you run off stage and she's one of the people who envelops you in the whatever. No.
No, she has her own career, a prestigious academy, and she does fantastic.
Now,
Okay,
does
I'm
she-
glad that's wrong because I was just, I was personalizing and going, I love my wife. I believe my wife loves me. She certainly has proven it to me time and time again. On any given day, if
Well, that's
if
what
we've-
you
if
get
we've had-
into.
if we've
you
had a
know?
little disagreement,
especially when
you
things
know.
get rocky.
yeah, I wouldn't
Shouldn't
want
put you out right
my,
away.
yeah. Somehow, oh, I forgot the blanket that puts out.
Didn't have the extinguisher today.
Yeah,
Oh boy. Now does she go to your shows or she can't watch it? She honors what you do, but I don't want to see it.
Well, she doesn't. My wife doesn't really go to the shows that much. She'll go and she'll watch and stuff like that.
First time she saw it, did she freak completely out?
I think so. I think so. And my son,
Jason freaked completely out.
Your son, yeah.
yeah, I got an 8-year-old son, and he's just fantastic. But he always gives me a hard time. It's kind of hard when you have a son to explain why you do this for a living.
Sure.
And don't play with matches.
The great thing about Ray that you didn't see is when Ray said, and we are so excited to meet you because I've seen the show.
Thank you.
If you haven't seen it, it's beyond anything to describe. I was excited to do it for Jason, but right before we went on, I said, "So John, it was great that John, the cannonball, reached out to you." And Ray goes, I always wanted to do the cannonball.
Yeah.
It's like, really, Ray? What else do you want to impale yourself with a fence? I mean, what are we talking about?
No,
here?
I did. That was one of the great tricks that I always wanted to learn to do. And then I went and I saw John at the circus, and he's flying like higher than the high wire, the trapeze, and everything. And I kind of like,
You two are
maybe I
kindred-
should do that.
Maybe not so much. Yeah.
kindred
You got to make
spirits.
good choices in
Yeah,
life,
right. Yeah.
Is it
Safety first.
Is this because it's such a dangerous stunt, and I'm sure it takes focus and preparation, all that stuff? Is it like when Jason performs, it's a rush? When I perform, it's a rush. Is there a rush, or is it I just got to be focused and then get over there and put myself out? Is all the focus on the event itself, how to start it, where it's going, how much time I have before I go over there, make sure they're ready? I mean, you are so into it that you can't go, look at this. I can bask in the fact that people are freaking out and love what I'm doing.
No, you have to be very, very focused. And just a second, you can't overfuel, can't underfuel. You have to just be focused on it. And yeah, there is a huge rush.
Is there really?
Yeah.
When it's done?
Can you see the crowd?
Yes, even after 24 years, the adrenaline's there, and you're ready to go. You're pumped up, ready to go out on stage. Yeah,
Really? No, I got to tell you, I would be. I could just see myself. My 2-week vacation once a year in Hawaii. Going, I can't believe one more day, and then I got to go back and set myself on fire.
The funny thing when you said that, when Ray said, I also read that Ray said when he's on the beach, he burns easily. He doesn't like being on the beach, which made me
I
laugh.
can't be 3 minutes out there, and I'm red as a lobster.
Use a sunscreen. And the other thing about this is whether you're using the Kevlar or whatever you're using to protect you, you wear a hat, but your face is unprotected, just grease paint, correct?
That is true. I don't use any stunt gels or anything on
So
my
how
face.
does it not get your face?
Well, it gets warm. You just have to move out of the way. And you'll see me on stage. Sometimes you'll see me squirming. If you see me squirming, I'm in trouble, and
that happens?
it happens more than you think.
So what's the trouble? And what's the trouble? What's going on there?
It's just too hot.
Well, someone opened a door. Someone opened a door or a vent, or the heaters came on in a certain place and sucked the flame in a different direction. You have to be the flame is right next to my face.
Don't they have signs up that said "Don't turn on the vent, don't open the door"? Really?
They do, but some people don't listen.
So when you know instantly what's going on.
Well, it'll come. It's supposed to be right by my face, and when it starts coming to my face, I'll start squirming, looking for just a space, because there's not really.
So
any
what do you
space
do?
where the fire's
How
not.
can you get? What do you do? How do you control it?
Well, you just keep moving until you find that space, and you're not only
When
fighting.
you say that space, you mean so it starts blowing away from you?
Well, it'll blow, but you can't really see all the fire because it's all around you, and you're moving in different directions to try to get out of the flame.
Find a pocket.
But then, if you get out of the flame, you got to worry about the smoke, because smoke inhalation is much worse than the flame. It can get you very fast.
You got to cut this out, Ray. You got to stop.
So, Ray, has there ever been a performance where, you're doing the slow walk and you go, oh, this, and you had to high foot it to get out because you had to
Yeah,
abandon it?
there has been a couple of those
Really?
times where, but Cirque du Soleil is so great because they have 10 guys in the wings waiting to put me out.
I would think.
Yeah, and they know exactly. They're watching every move I make.
So they know the second you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Have they ever had to run out and put you up?
Not run out, but I did go out one time and I tripped, and all this fire goes all over the stage, So
Ray.
and they, but they're so good. They're so good. If I have a little bit of trouble, if they see me squirming or something like that, they go, "Are you okay?" They're right on top of it, and every show they're right there. And I can't say enough about my safety team at Cirque du Soleil.
As you get older, is it harder? Is there anything that's changed with age?
It gets harder to stand up and move. I'm getting pretty old, and it's hard. You see me running, and you'll see me doing hat tricks across the stage and juggling across stage, and those kind of things are actually a little harder for me because your knees and your ankles.
Right. And if you do start, I wondered. I said, I got to ask him if you start running to get off stage because you're in trouble. Does that make it worse for the flame?
No, it actually makes it a little better to be moving forward and stuff for me. If you see me go down, if I drop down, they're instructed to come out immediately and put me out. So far that has not happened, but I have rushed off the stage a little bit, and when they come by, they just set my foot on fire as they walk by to start with, like you said, just my foot, and then it grows from there. Once in a while, the wind will be blowing in the wrong direction for the guy coming out with the big ball of fire, and it'll blow and set me on fire too early. And that creates a problem there because I'm burning, and I need to sit there for an extra 30, 40 seconds, to make sure. And like you said, 30 seconds when you're on fire is kind of a long time.
How much? I think I read this, that you lose pounds of water weight when in minutes, in 3 minutes, right? Do you have to just rehydrate immediately?
Well, I not immediately, but when I get off stage. But I do actually. I come off and I'm drenched. I am absolutely drenched by doing it. It burns at over 900 degrees, So it's a hot burn, and it's kind of draws the water out of you pretty good.
So also, so you come off stage, you fall in the blanket, they wrap you up, you get out of the clothing. Because this is your job. Do you then go, what, I feel like meatball and spaghetti tonight. Let's go out for dinner and a movie. Can you do that? Can you have a life? Or is it you need downtime to kind of process what just went on, even though you've done it a lot? It's like, shit, I was just on fire for 3 minutes. And I'm going to be doing it again tomorrow night.
Well, I've done it for 24 years.
I understand.
And we joke in the back and stuff like that, because after 24 years, you kind of don't have that type of anxiety like I was just on fire anymore. You're like telling jokes as you're coming off.
So that's what you'll say, let's go out for pizza.
Yeah, but as soon as something goes wrong, it kind of switches on you.
Have you been approached to do fire burns like for film and stuff? Are you a stuntman as well?
I do comedy with fire. Yeah. I don't really just do straight stunt burns. I can, I know how to do it, of course, because of what I do and stuff. But I like the comedy.
So has anyone ever put you in a film and done some version of the act comedically, or?
Yeah, we just did a show called The Circus, that is a TV series, kind of that may get picked up and stuff like that. We're hoping it will. Where I play kind of a crazy lunatic, and I'm putting together this fire thing for this one person. One person bought the show out and is sitting there, and I got to put together this crazy fire burn for him, and it was a lot of fun, and it turned out real well, So
Do you have anybody who comes up to you and says, like John did with the cannibal, I want to apprentice. Can you teach me what you want to do? You're in your 60s. How many more years are you going to be doing this? I'd love to learn.
But you get all kinds of people, and especially these people. You got to pick me. You got to. I got to go. I got to learn what you do. I'm just crazy. I'll do anything. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, if you're going to be crazy out there and do anything, you're not the person I want to set on fire.
So is there anybody that you found that you're willing to?
Well, there for a while, we were going to go to 7 days a week with Cirque du Soleil, and I of course can't work 7 days a week. I got a family. I do have a life a little bit, Right. But I had to train somebody, and he was a fire artist. He did an excellent job. And just before we went to 7 days a week, COVID hit, and it changed everything back to the way it was.
Wow. And so that person's not doing it?
No, I'm the only one doing it.
No one's doing it anymore?
That guy's sitting around going, I learned how
so
to set
burned up.
myself on fire for nothing.
Burned up
For
about
nothing.
Yeah,
So there's nobody else right now currently in the world that does what you do?
No, I'm the only one, and I like it that way because when you create something, when it's yours, you have a hard time saying, oh yeah, it's okay for you to do it. Yeah,
sure.
But would you be okay in, say, 5-6 years, your formerly 8-year-old son comes up and goes, Dad, I've been watching you. I want to take over the act.
I think I'd be okay with it, I think I'd be okay.
I don't know if your wife would be so okay.
Well, that might be a different story. But he's my son is such a great kid. He's always gives me such a hard time, and he's like, I don't even like fire. I like water. Water, you got to be a fire guy.
They always shove it right up your butt, don't they?
I can't tell you. I think collectively, I have 2 sons. I think collectively they've seen 4 episodes of Seinfeld. The kids never like what you do.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
They don't care.
But to tell this guy, I like water. That's really
I like
shoving
water.
it up.
Yeah,
That's really shoving it up the old man's.
Yeah, when you can swim across the pool and hold your breath, Dad, then we'll talk about it.
So, Ray, retirement at any time in the future, or do you think you can do this as long as you want?
I don't look at retirement. I believe that, you stay young by staying active, staying healthy, and doing what you love. And I got to say, I truly love what I do. I spent my life learning it and doing it, and I'm still creating. In fact, I'm going to go on America's Got Talent here.
Are you really?
Yes, I am. And you know who I'm going on it with?
No.
My mom, 85 years old. 85, never been on stage before, 85 years old.
And you're going to set her on fire?
She's going to set you on fire.
85 years old. We're going to do something together that's wild and crazy and out there. And
Come on, we know Howie Mandel, so we can sweeten this a little bit for you if you want.
I'm going to need it. I'm going to need it from Howie, I think.
It's so cool that you're. And by the way, when you came in, the first thing I noticed your hands, face, hair, nothing singed, nothing looks like you had burnt. It is amazing.
He has hair, I have none. What is that about?
But what's amazing is I also wonder, because you look healthy, you look in good shape. So I set myself on fire twice a day, but I'm vegan. Do you take vitamins on the other scale? Do you watch everything you do, how you eat, exercise, whatever, even though you're trying to kill yourself twice a night?
No, I just live life. I live to be happy. I live what I can. I eat what I like to eat and what is good. I try to eat a little healthy.
You look healthy. I want to go into his house. It'd be fun. Come over for a barbecue. Do you often light yourself to light the barbecue just because?
Well, my neighbors, they get too used to who I am, but they're a little scared. Before I had to kind of move out of a neighborhood because the neighbor was a little bit weird about what I did.
Wait a minute, but that doesn't involve. You're not setting yourself on fire.
Don't even wet. What do you mean a little bit weird? Expressed how?
I'm playing with propane cannons that shoot fire
Okay.
30 feet. I'm burning myself out.
Oh, yeah. You got to move out of the neighborhood.
And their window was right over my backyard.
Sure.
Oh, my God.
It was my backyard sealed, and you can't see anything except their window up top.
Sure.
Oh, you're moving out. I'm protesting. You got to move out. You got.
I'd come driving up, and she was a school teacher, I guess, or something. And I'd come driving up, and she would go running across the street like a bat out of hell. I'll tell you, she was across that street. She would not look at me in the eye. She just thought I was the weirdest, craziest guy.
Well, because
she
you're in bed at night going, why is it daylight out? Oh, you set yourself on fire again. That's why it's daylight out. So you had to move.
eventually-
And the new neighbors welcome it? They like the heat?
Yeah, my new neighbor is, he's a great guy. He's a producer of a TV show, the one we did, So he had the idea of doing this TV show with me and stuff. So we get along, and I think he's a little more understanding about what I do, coming from that industry.
Good God.
And you've been with them how many years?
24 years since it started, since the O Show opened up. I've been
I
there.
can't believe the O Show is 24 years old.
24 years old. I can't either.
Jason?
Has the show changed over time? Do they change out acts, or do they?
They change it. They call it a show in progress. That it'll always be changing. It doesn't change that much. But
Yeah.
They have people looking over every little step that you're making, and they want that little steps to be the same, except for if they change them. And
Yeah.
So, indelicate question. You're in the O show. You got to go to the bathroom. You just,
He's not in the pool.
no, I'm just saying, but you're performing. You just take a leak right in the pool because what the hell? I'm not getting out.
they don't let me in the
Oh,
water.
okay.
Yeah. I was going to say, he's the only one not in the pool. You're asking the
I just,
wrong
because
guy.
you hear stories. You just know, like Luke doing the flippy thing, just took a wins. And
But I tell you, when you're in the fire outfit, ready to go on stage, you got to go to the
Can
bathroom.
you imagine?
Oh, what do you
You're
do?
done.
What do you
That's
do?
it. You're in. That's like being in the bat suit. You don't get
Yeah.
out until you're done.
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
hold it. You hold it.
You try to. Yeah.
So now you're uncomfortable and you're on fire. Guys, put me out quick. I got to pee.
Although
Ray,
on the top side, the crotch burn he can put out himself. He
not
doesn't need
necessarily.
anybody
Would
to-
that? What is your? If you had to do that, what would happen in a suit?
if
If you
If you
peed
peed in the suit,
I peed in a suit,
would it affect the flame?
no, I don't think it would affect the flame, but pretty uncomfortable.
Is it like peeing in a wetsuit kind of a thing?
Probably
Yeah.
the same thing.
Which is, by the way, everybody I've ever any occasion I've ever had to be in a wetsuit.
They say pee in the.
They go, "Is it cold? Pee in the suit." And you go,
I know,
"Really?
I know.
Really? That's my introduction to the wonderful
Everybody says
the world of Jacques Cousteau. Pee in the suit."
Ray, I got to thank you. You made this little boy's life. He's been talking about you
You're the
for as
best,
long
man.
as I've known him.
And let me say, as Ray says, the O Show is 24 years in running. It is a glorious show. And you
Ray,
will
it's
see Ray
remarkable.
do what only he does, the only man in the world to do it.
I'm looking at you. I heard the interview. I was part of the interview, and it's hard to wrap my head around the fact that you're this calm, you're this joyful. And when's your next show? When do you have to do the next show?
Wednesday night. We go out Wednesday night, and I'll be there to the two shows doing what I do, and hopefully get off stage okay.
Do you sign autographs afterwards? People come up to you? No.
Well, we don't.
You can't
you
recognize
can't,
him
you
in the
can't.
show.
Oh,
I got to tell
'cause
you,
he's got the
it's
hook.
when I saw you backstage. Honestly, it was by process of elimination. Going, no, he's not the girl that did that. No, he's probably heavier than the guy that did that. It was
Hard
a
to figure
process
out.
to winnow it down to go. I think that's the guy.
They have all Olympic athletes there,
Oh, I know.
So
Believe
it's
me,
not hard to spot
I felt
me.
like I was a different species when I walked.
One last thing I just thought I got to ask you. I told Laurie that I'm upset. In today's world, everybody has to top everybody. The shows have to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And I got completely obsessed with the group Rammstein, who shoots off. Jason, have you ever seen this show? No. Look at these guys. Okay, I got to show you a video of Rammstein because the guy who does their fire is the guy. You have never seen anything like this
Are
show.
they on fire?
They're on. The guy comes out on fire. It's
How
insane.
long is he on
Wait,
fire?
it's not. When you see the event, it is stunning. Have you seen their show or what it is?
I have not. I'd love to
Okay,
see it.
we got to show you
Yeah, show
what
me.
this
By
is.
the way,
too.
there could be
Dude,
there
I have
could
a
be
feeling Rammstein could use you for very special Rammstein
or
moment.
I'm also thinking there's a violation of, maybe public
No,
domain.
it's a different thing. They're not on fire themselves, but the fire.
They're
is
not
so,
on fire themselves?
The fire.
Then I'm not interested.
But the fire. Wait, do you see?
Anybody
this
can
thing?
light
I'll
a
show it to
fire.
you. But
I
anyway,
love
I was
anything
curious.
with
I'll show. That's what I figured. I'll show it to you. Ray, thank you for helping us out here. And my gosh,
Jason,
Stay
it's
safe,
so good
brother.
to see you again.
Oh,
It's so
my
good,
God.
and,
It's just, we'll do this again in 20 years. Stay
thank
safe.
you, Peter, for having me here. I
you
really
stay
appreciate
safe.
it.
I'm going to come see you next time. We're going to come
that.
back just to see you, Ray.
Hey, come backstage. Come backstage.
We
We'll
will.
come
I
backstage.
wouldn't
Maybe we'll
miss
take
it.
you out to dinner and we can go to barbecue. You take care.